As you know, a country is known from its infrastructure and sophisticated living and industrial facilities. As you know, most of the structures, whether it is bridges, flyovers, buildings, multi-story buildings, railway stations, everywhere the most important element which is used for construction is steel. Why steel? Mainly because of its easy availability, its properties which are required for easy construction, molding, malleability, mechanical properties, and so on and so forth. And also it's cheapness compared to any other metal or alloy which is available. That is the reason steel is considered to be the primary requirement of a universe, a country, a structure, or anything like that. Steel is not just a alloy of iron and carbon, but if you see the variety of steels, there are hundreds and hundreds qualities of the steel with small difference in the properties which are suitable for a particular application. And from steel, when you go on improving its properties, we make stainless steels, we make super alloys, and so many kind of things which are used for specific application. But when we talk about the structure, the most important part is that wherever steel is used, you cannot leave steel as such open, because with all best properties of the steel, steel has one bad property, that when it is exposed as such to the environment, with environmental oxygen, with environmental moisture, and if there are pollutants like carbon dioxide, chloride, or SO2, then its reaction with that is very bad, which results in direct interaction of these gases or moisture with steel, leading to a process called corrosion. And when corrosion occurs, it is basically the eating away of iron from the uh, structural part, which goes on reducing the thickness of the thickness of the part, and finally it loses its load bearing capability, and then it falls or cracks. Now this is a very important thing, and that is why when we use steel, it need to be protected with a suitable paint coating. And that is where the subject of paint coating comes. And paint coating becomes a very, very essential part of any structure. You talk of a flyover, you talk of a bridge, you talk of a multi-story building, you talk of a railway station, anywhere where steel is used, you cannot leave steel without a painted process. And that's why the paint coating has become a very big subject. To tell you the truth, that the total paint market of India is around 70,000 crores. And when you talk about the total paint market of the global paint market is $1.8 billion. So 70,000 crore market of the paint is a huge market, which includes the manufacturers, which include the dealers, which includes the contractors, which includes people who do R&D testing, and so on and so forth. So paint subject itself gives lots of jobs to the people, and it takes care of our structure to a greater extent. Now the question is, what are these paints and how the structures are protected? As you see, when you go to buy steel or steel products in the market, you find that the steel is available in normal form, which is called black steel, unprotected steel. Then you go and you get galvanized steels, which is a steel which is very shining, silver color shining things. This is called galvanized steels. Galvanized steel can be directly used for your application because it is coated with zinc, and zinc is one of the most superior element which, when applied on steel, it protects the steel from any further corrosion. Not only that, if this coating is damaged at certain points, the zinc even covers the damaged portion by cathodic protection. That's why today the most important element to protect steel is zinc. And almost any project which you look into that, the you will see the galvanized steel is used in that. Then galvanized fasteners, nut bolts, and everywhere you see they are used into that. Protection by zinc, that is the first uh, method of protecting steel from corrosion. It is used in the maximum thing. Now, when you talk about making a bridge on sea, making a bridge near to the sea, or you are on a riverfront, you find that the zinc-based coating is not perfect. You have several kind of paint systems. As a matter of fact, the environment, the whole environment is divided into various corrosion categories, which we define it by C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. So if you have to make a building, if you have to make a bridge, if you have to make a mall, if you have to make a, you know, any kind of, today solar plants are coming in these areas, or even wind power. Based upon whether they are in C1, C2, C3, C4, you have a different kind of coatings. And that is where you find that today, if you go to market, if you go to any of the paint manufacturers, they will give you 1,000 formulations. So your aim is first to define the area where your building or structure is coming into that, and based upon that, you have to choose or select a paint which is suitable for that, and that requires a basic knowledge of paint coating, a basic knowledge of what are different kind of resins, what kind of protection they have in various environments. And if you know this properly, then you can very nicely choose a suitable paint system for your application. Now, the third very important part of this thing is you have chosen a very good paint system, and until and unless you know the proper application procedure, even very good paint system will not give you the life which you are looking into that. So which means that the skill development in the paint coating is very important. You can see you have as a matter of fact, if steel is just kept, you have bought it for some project, and after 6 months, if you have not used, it is already corroded. So how this corroded steel has to be used for your structure, that itself is a process. You have to properly clean it, and then there is a procedure. Any paint system which is applied, the first step is surface cleaning. Second step is application of a suitable primer, which is a basic requirement and which gives its corrosion protection or cathodic protection kind of methodology. That then there is a main coating, and then there is a final coating which gives the overall protection to the main coating. So that's why a selection of the paint followed by a suitable proper application is very, very important. And today, as I told you, the environments are just changing. So there are so many kinds of coatings which the knowledge of which is very important. There is a very big subject called functional coatings. Functional coating basically means I'm making a project where there is a particular kind of corrosion is there. So I have to choose that paint system which takes care of that function. In the same way, we have a coatings like called smart coatings. For example, today we are seeing 100-story buildings of glass which just get dusty after some time. But today you have a very special smart coatings which, if applied on these glass surfaces right in the beginning, then there is a continuous self-cleaning by the moisture in the environment, which when sits on the surface, it cleans the dust and works in this fashion. So in this way, I will say the coating subject is very, very important, and it gives a very big life to that. And it not only it is to the open structure, but even to the concrete structure. As you know that most of the bridges and other things are RCC structures. And RCC structure is nothing but in which steel is reinforced into the concrete to give it higher tensile strength and hence make it resistant to the seismic activity. Now, even that steel which is embedded in the concrete also corrodes. So, which means that we have to choose a special rebar which is properly coated, or we modify the concrete aggregate in such a fashion it has some kind of resistance to corrosion, and we can also coat the concrete cover so that the moisture and pollutant don't enter into that. So this is the whole subject of coating, which is very interesting, and which itself is a very specialized subject today. People like us give special advices and give proper information, and also skill development where the proper coating can be applied.